Welcome to another episode of Racing to Learn. We are a nonprofit that uses radio control to get kids excited about math and science. And we haven't taken a look at our Project Mustang Power Wheels in quite some time. And for good reason. The Gearbox is here. We were having some trouble, so if you guys recall, I actually got this for free off of Craigslist, but it had a bad gear, meaning only one of these two gearboxes would turn, because the gear, which is, they're all plastic inside, that first gear, not the pinion gear, but the first plastic gear there, had stripped. So I went through a whole debacle, got a new one off of eBay. The plastic gear, actually ended up buying the whole gear case, or gear case and gears and whatnot, and it was really odd when we assembled it. It just, the motor couldn't turn it, and just couldn't figure it out for whatever reason. Spent a couple of hours with actually a mechanical engineer, my cousin that actually works on F1 drivetrains, or sensors and whatnot. He's a mechanical engineer. We spent probably about 3 hours, couldn't figure it out. I contacted the vendor, just couldn't figure it out, why it wouldn't work. And then today, after it had sat a while, I just tried reassembling everything. Maybe it was just too late at night, and we weren't at our sharpest and brightest. So when I hooked everything back up, the motors were able to turn the gears, and we'll post you can reference that earlier video that we posted. It was just really odd. Anyways, it's working now, so I reassembled everything. One interesting thing is that these gears, or these motors, there are two speeds on the transmission here, right? The turtle. So when you put in this, the motors actually are run in parallel, right? I don't know if they're running. I guess they're probably run at 6 volts then, in parallel, from what used to be a 12-volt lead acid battery. And when you throw it into high gear, right, they actually run in, I guess, is it in series then? Yeah, I probably need to go check it out. But anyways, one interesting thing to note is that if one of these motors is caught, the power will all be routed to the other motor. So it's kind of like an open differential, like many of our radio control cars have. So it was kind of interesting. So I don't know if that was the case. I've got to go back and watch that earlier video that we shot, trying to diagnose the issue. But when I reassembled everything, it worked. So I did it right. I put some thread lock on the screws going into the motor so they wouldn't back out, and put the wheels back together and everything. This is actually the first time I've seen this thing run. So you'll notice that when I rock the car back and forth, the gearboxes will actually move. Now that's how I'm assuming that's how they come from the factory. There's some slop in the drivetrain there. When we hooked up the lead acid battery, I think it's a sealed lead acid battery, it would turn the motors, but actually when you put it under load, it couldn't bear any load, right? It couldn't move. You can see the little fans here in the 550 size motors actually turn a little bit, but then under any sort of load, right, it just couldn't turn. So I chalked it up to the battery was dead. So I thought I was going to have to figure something out, or definitely I'd have to figure something out to get this car back on the road. Just ended up rigging something up because I haven't seen this thing run ever, so wanted to test it out. So what I did here was actually grabbed a 3S battery. It's around 12 volts, right? When you charge it up, it's probably about what is that? I think 12.2 volts or whatnot, 12.4 volts. Fully charged. This one, was just charged up 12 volts. As long as you're in the neighborhood, it's good. I kind of rigged up this thing with some banana plug and the wires and whatnot, just as a temporary thing, just to see if this thing would even work, and it does. So it actually supported my weight. That's why this pad is on here. I was actually sitting on this and driving this around the yard. So we're gonna go ahead and clean this up and get this back together. Thanks again for watching. We'll catch you next time.